What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and today, day trading, I made $1,300, but I'm not making this video really to talk about that. I guess I will a little bit, but the main thing that I want to talk about is the stocks that you guys need to be watching for tomorrow. I am actually so hyped for tomorrow. We have a lot of runners, but the biggest one that I'm most excited for is the one where the CEO, about 30 minutes, maybe an hour before market close, tweeted out that they had just signed a deal with one of the greatest athletes of our generation, and that they would be PRing tomorrow. That means press release, basically doing a news announcement of who that is and what the deal entails. So the stock price was spiking into close, and it closed literally at the high of the day. There's gonna be so much opportunity to profit on this stock, and I'm absolutely hyped for it. Not only on the long side, but also on the short side. This thing is just gonna have a ton of volatility, and I'm very excited for this. So I'm gonna share what this stock is in just a second. But remember to like this video if you like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll probably help you guys make some more money. And turn on post notifications if you want the free stale cookie mailed to you. If you're the first comment, you get a free stale cookie. So that's pretty much it. Let's dive into my computer and talk about the stocks for tomorrow. All right, guys, so just diving right into these charts that you need to be watching for tomorrow. RGBP, this is one you absolutely have to have on your watch list. They had some decent news come out, and Fat Cash was also tweeting about them again. And because of that, they had a big gap up and a big spike right at open. And then you can see, again, based on the daily charts, like this makes sense. It had a nice pullback, 3 red days in a row, and made a higher low there, and was pretty nice. So there was some decent room on both sides, both the long and the short side on this particular stock, and I did both of those. I will definitely be watching this tomorrow. I don't really have any big plan at this point since it's a little bit mid-range. It's not really underextended. It could fall and break down below this, or it could have another nice big green day and break over these highs here. So I mean, really, it could go on either side of those. I don't really know which side it's going to go on, so I'm just going to react to the intraday chart. And, you know, if it gets too many green candles in a row, I'll short it. And if it gets too many red candles in a row, I'll dip by it. That's always my plan on these. Absolutely killer. OZSC and AITX had very similar charts. So you can see these stocks had closed higher 4 days in a row, and it was time for a nice big morning panic, especially based on how they were right at open, you know, based on all this consolidation. So I shorted this pretty much right at open and made some nice money. That's why the majority of my money was made in the first, I don't know, 30 minutes of the day, 40 minutes of the day. OZSC, you can see AITX has a very similar looking chart. Both of these had nice morning panics right at open. AITX actually had a nice dip buy here as well off of that. And you know, these ones are still ones that I'm trading every day. If you are on Fidelity and you have limited OTC stocks, you know, you can't trade the ones with the stop signs on OTCmarkets.com. These two are always a really great option. So let's just continue down the line. HMBL, this actually had another nice morning panic today, and I started, you know, I got a little aggressive on this, but I did it with small size. So I shorted 1,000 shares market like 2 seconds after market open, and I got filled. I'm trying to see where I got filled. Let's see. I got filled, yeah, literally at 9:30:02, I shorted 1,000 shares. I got filled 136.5, so I got filled right here, and I ended up covering down here for a pretty nice gain at 128.5. So I mean, that's nice, man. That's $100 right out of the gate with just 1,000 shares. Not risking too much if it started spiking at open. So Humble loves to dump right at open, and it's just kind of cool to see that and be able to take advantage of that, because I feel like it does it pretty much every day. And if it's not going to do it, it's typically pretty obvious. So that's just another trade that I pretty much make every single day. All right, so now getting into some of the more interesting tickers on the day. GVSI, guys, this is the one that George Sharp, again, is trying to take custodianship of, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, there's actually a couple of those, but this is one that has come up a lot. It has come up a lot, but it keeps consolidating and breaking out to new highs and explosively doing so. It closed really strong. This may have been a good overnight. I just don't like overnighting stocks. But if this breaks out past this key level right here from the previous day. I guess it'll be 2 days ago at this point, you know, if you're trading it on Wednesday. If it breaks out past that level, breaks to new highs, it's probably going to see a nice little run. I still think this thing could go as high as, you know, 5 cents in 1 day. It could easily double in 1 day. That's the type of stock that this is. So be aware of that and keep this on your radar. I'm probably going to be trading this tomorrow. Again, I'll be looking to buy this breakout if it happens. If we get some nice dip buys, I'll be looking to get in on those as well. You know, too many red candles in a row. I'm trying to get in there. And, you know, we'll see how this one pans out, guys. We'll see how this one pans out. Now, I want to dive in and talk about what the best ticker of the day, in my opinion, will be tomorrow. Again, they are announcing that athlete. It's going to be exciting stuff. So let me go right here so you can see Take Over Joe. This guy, this is the Twitter account that tweeted it out. He's the CEO of LTNC. And you can see this is the tweet right here. LTNC Army, glad to report, again, making major progress today. Just wrapped / signed a major deal with one of the greatest athletes of the century. That is pretty insane, man. That is pretty insane. Shout out to all the LTNC family and shareholders for networking and support. Time to fly. So I don't know who the athlete's going to be. You can only guess at this point. If you guys have any guesses about who the athlete's going to be, definitely drop them down below in the comments. We'll see if anyone can get it. If you guys do get it, you'll get another stale cookie in the mail. Is it going to be LeBron James? Is it going to be Tiger Woods? Is it going to be Kendrick Perkins? I don't know. I really don't know. Selena? Wait, what's her name? No, Selena Gomez doesn't play sports. I'm trying to think of that tennis player. That's pretty embarrassing, David. I can't think of the tennis player. 2 sisters who were really good at tennis. Oh well. Oh well. Serena. That's what it is. Not Selena. Serena. There you go. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's pretty exciting. And here's the thing. You got to take this with a grain of salt and be ready for whatever happens, guys. Do not buy this into a huge spike and turn into a big bag holder, because if you look at the overall chart for this stock, well, actually, I mean, I guess, you know, it is pretty near those highs. That's pretty insane. That's honestly pretty insane. That's actually really cool. I wasn't aware of that. I thought this went all the way up to like 20 or 30 cents. So LTNC's all-time highs, or I guess recent highs, I don't know if long-term. Okay, yeah, I guess all-time highs right there are right at 8.75 cents, guys. And you have to remember, this thing came from nothing. Look at that. The low is 0.0001. 0.0001. So there are people, and I actually have seen the Twitter account of one of them. There's people who have 100 million shares of this stock. So you have to keep that in mind, guys. And if you're buying up here at, I don't even know what percentage more that is. I mean, what is that? Is that 100,000%? No, what is that? Is that 100,000% more? 600, is it maybe it's 60,000% or maybe it's 100,000%. It might be 60,000% more than you would buy it for down here. Maybe it's 600,000. I don't know math off the top of my head, but it's expensive up here. So you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. You cannot turn into a bag holder. But here's the thing, guys. Whatever they announce tomorrow, I think it's going to be insane. There's going to be a lot of hype building up for this, you know, overnight as people realize this. I almost overnighted this. I probably should have. Honestly, it probably gaps up huge, but I didn't have the faith to do it. But I really think this thing is going to be awesome tomorrow, especially if it's an actual big name athlete. And if it's not, then it probably gaps up a ton in anticipation of that. And then when the actual athlete name comes out, it starts tanking really hard. That's a good shorting opportunity. When the tank bottoms, that's a good dip buy opportunity into the bounce. When the bounce tops out, that's a good shorting opportunity. So there's literally going to be so many ways that you can make money on this stock tomorrow, and I'm going to be all over it all day long. Luckily, I didn't use too much buying power today. I saved a lot of settled cash, so tomorrow I should have a good amount of settled cash to be able to buy this thing on the long side. I'll be calling that out in the Discord. If you aren't in that, the link is in the description down below, but this thing, it's going to be great. I'm excited. And again, I'm not pumping this, guys. If you go long term and you look at this stock, it has had some huge pullbacks. And, you know, if you buy here at 875 and you're holding here, you're down, what, 70% of your position? Almost, what, 60+% of your position? And you never know where the top is going to be. So you cannot buy this at any price and hold forever and expect to be positive. So for me, this is just a day trade. maybe this is going to be a great company that turns out to be a great investment, but that's not what I do for the most part. I am a day trader, but I'm really excited for this, guys. I honestly am legitimately excited for this. If we get a huge big name athlete, whether it's a baseball player, or football player, or tennis player, basketball, whatever, I think it's going to be really, really cool. So be ready. Come along for the ride. Lock your profits in safe when you have them, if you have them, and if it turns into a loss, cut it quickly, because if you buy up here, anything that has green candles this big, and I'm sure it's probably going to go higher than this tomorrow, can easily have red candles that are just as big. So be careful, and let's lock in those gains, baby, because I am so hyped for tomorrow. Honestly, I can't even put into words how hyped I am for this. So that's going to be really fun. And if you can't trade this stock, because I think this still has a stop sign, which is part of the reason why it's a little bit sketchy. They're still not active on some of their financials like they should have been. So maybe they're going to do that soon. But at this point, it's still one of those stocks that's a little bit like, George Sharp has been talking a bunch of crap about them. So you got to keep that in mind. And, don't assume that this is going to be the next Apple. Just ride the momentum and take what you can get out of it. But it's going to be exciting, man. And if they come out with a really cool athlete, I'm just excited to see where this thing goes. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that stock. That's my #1 watch for tomorrow. But we had some other stocks today that were doing some stuff. PJET. This is one that I called out a few days ago. I actually didn't call it out in yesterday's video because it kind of had a lame day here. You can see it kind of just faded off. But it did end up spiking today, breaking past those highs. And this is what can happen when you break out past highs. When you break out past highs, it typically gets, a nice breakout, especially in this market, man. In OTC land, it's actually breaking out pretty nicely. So this was a good one. RETC, George Sharp was tweeting about this one. He tweeted right here as well. That's when it got pumped up a little bit. But you can see it's been on a nice run. And again, if this thing breaks out past this level right here, typically, that 1 cent psychological mark is super powerful. So if it can break out over that and past these highs, it probably is going to be a strong breakout. That would be a good buy. In my personal opinion, I'll probably be buying it if it breaks out past that, and we'll see how far it can go. Again, there's a lot of stocks with momentum right now. GGII is again, it's one of those runners where it's had a bunch of overextended days, and should have had a big red day today. But it actually didn't, it actually didn't. It actually held those gains surprisingly well. You can see, kind of consolidating in this area. That was pretty good support. It broke down under there, but immediately got back over and was pretty well holding that support line. So if this thing continues to hold that support, it could be a pretty nice buy for the breakout over this high, because again, if we get a breakout, it's probably going to be explosive and continue on up based on the market that we're currently in. And if it does break down under these levels, especially under this level right here, this level right there, if it breaks down under there, it's probably going to be a decent short. Again, it's a pretty cheap stock, so you can't take big sides. But I think it could see there's some nice downside. There's some nice downside, especially breaks this level, and then it's going to test the 1 cent level right here. So there's definitely room to profit on both sides. And that's what I love about these stocks. There's room to profit on both sides. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I was really trading today. I guess SHMN, that was another really strong one. So I got to put that in here. This one closed right at the high of the day. And based on the multi-day runners we've been seeing, I would not be surprised to see this gap up and continue to run tomorrow. I'm not saying it for sure does that, but it will be hard on my watch list in case it does that. And, we'll see what happens, man. It pretty much held this uptrend for the whole day. Broke down under a little bit, but, in general, it was holding that uptrend. So it's cool to see that. And, I'm going to continue to watch this, guys. I'm going to continue to watch this as long as it keeps going up. It's something that's interesting to me. And I'm trying to think I think that's pretty much it for OTCs. I may have missed one. I guess AZFL, some other YouTuber did a video about this. And I got in, I don't know, at 39. I ended up selling at 41. But that was a pretty lame trade. I made like $15 on that one. Anything else? ZHUD. This is another one that Fat Cash was talking about. And this one, wow, it spiked up a lot today. He's talking about some type of connection with RGBP, but it had a nice dip here. I almost nailed this one. I was half a second too late. I saw a huge gap in the level 2. Again, that's how you want to use the level 2. If you see that there's a buyer at 3 cents and there's a buyer at 2.5, if you can put a buy in and get in that gap, it's absolutely a great strategy because you pretty much get an instant bounce and you're instantly profitable. Then it ripped to new highs and kind of faded off. So this is one that, man, I mean, it could definitely do something interesting, but personally, it has really slow executions for me, so I'm not super interested. You know, I was trying to buy market for 30 seconds plus when there was not a lot of buying, and I still didn't get filled. So that kind of scares me because I know I won't be able to sell when I need to on stocks like that. So that is that in that regard. And let's get into some of the Nasdaqs. So MVIS, this one had a really, really nice short. I mean, really nice. I didn't short this one at all, but this is what, you know, this is the potential of shorting a backside move, guys. You know, there's not really much of a bounce at all. When something gets this overextended, it's pretty darn easy to short. And I know some people who banked on this, and I also know some people who tried to dip buy this and lost $300,000, which really stinks. But you know, sometimes on the backside of these moves, they don't bounce at all. So pretty crazy to see, man. Pretty crazy to see. It did end up bouncing right here at this 19.5 support level, which again was the previous breakout level, and it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Again, I had this line drawn from before, from a couple days ago, and it makes sense that that's where it bounced, because anytime you have a resistance level and then it strongly breaks out over that, when it comes back down, that's typically a new support level, at least for short term. So that's why that bounced there. So that was a stock that was in play. We had a couple of stocks today that were also in play. ALDX, this is another Nasdaq. This thing was squeezing all day long, and I know some people in our Discord were being a little stubborn on this one, but luckily they got out unscathed on their shorts because it did find a top here and then came back down here. I made a little bit of money on the washout under 15, I believe it was. Yeah, right here. If I can zoom in a little bit, I made a little bit of money. I think I shorted in here and covered here, and then re-shorted here, something like that, and then covered down here. So okay play for me. Didn't make too much on this one, but overall, you can see the chart, man. And this is just one of those ones that keeps squeezing all day long, but it's choppy, so it's tough to read, and it's tough to gauge. It's tough to gauge, man. But they actually ended up doing an offering after hours. That's why you can see that big dump right there. So pretty funny. I don't know what this one does, but if it breaks those highs, man, keep this on watch because it could keep squeezing. OCGN, this was kind of the supposed to be the red day, you know, the easy continued short day, but this thing just will not quit. This thing will not quit, and stocks like this are the reason that I am not patient in holding stocks that I'm profitable on, because I was shorting this thing, you know, down here, and I forget exactly where. I was trading so many stocks that I completely forget where. But you know, if I were holding this and this thing dumped like this, I would have to cover some. I would have to cover some, because when you see a stock that breaks down to new low of days, breaks that $10 psychological support area, and then immediately bounces back, rips to a new high intraday, you know, rips past this high here, rips to a new high, again past this high here, fails, breaks down, you know, makes a lower high. It can't break this level, right? At least at first. It can't break past this level, and it fades back down. Makes a lower low, so you're thinking, man, this thing is just over. But instead, it rebounds, breaks that high right here, breaks this high right here, makes a new high a day, and then just keeps squeezing it after hours, man. OCGN is an absolute beast, and you got to be so careful on the short side on this thing, man. You got to be so careful. This is very tough to read, and charts like this are part of the reason that I am not a huge fan of Nasdaqs, honestly. I mean, this thing is so tough to trade, but there's definitely opportunities there. A couple other Nasdaqs that were moving today, big. BTX, this thing is up a lot now. This thing is up a lot. This is going to be a great short. This thing's going to be a great short. I don't know how far it keeps squeezing, but you got to be careful. If the first red day is tomorrow, this is probably going to be a very easy short. But, you know, in this market, you never know, man. It could fake out, go red, and then squeeze to new highs. So you got to be careful. Do not be stubborn. What was the other one? TIRX. This is that one that absolutely tanked from like 100 to like 11 in one day with pretty much no bounce. And it looks like today it's actually squeezing again. I don't know if they're back to pumping it or it's purely just, you know, people in the market. And, you know, that's why it's going up. I have no idea, but this thing is definitely in play, you know, if it can keep going and break those highs. So we got to see what it does in pre-market. It may just fade back on down to that $11 mark. If so, it'll be an easy fade or short probably. So that's pretty much all the Nasdaqs that I saw today. There's probably a few other ones if I pull up Fidelity real quick. MYT, I guess that's the other one, MYT. This one was doing something a little bit cheaper, definitely low float, got some volume in here, but not one that I personally would trade. So that's it for today, guys. I am so excited for tomorrow. Seriously, I don't know that I've been this excited for tomorrow in a while. ALPP, I guess, is one last one that's holding a nice uptrend. This is an OTC if you're interested in this. So I'm excited for tomorrow, guys. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we can get more than 1,300 bucks, because I feel like I'm stuck in the 1,300 bucks range, and it feels kind of gross. So we'll see what happens. If I can break, I don't know, 2K, 3K, 4K, that would be a great day, at least in this market. So I'm excited. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you in the Discord. Until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.